Harper Audio presents The Choir on Hope Street by Annie Lyons, read by Ellie Heydon and Stephanie Racine.
Chapter 1. Natalie. I don't love you anymore. That was it. 6 words delivered so simply as if you were reading the news. Good evening, and here is the news. The marriage of Natalie and Daniel Garfield, which lasted for 15 years, is over. In a statement today, Mr. Garfield said, "I don't love you anymore." Mrs. Garfield responded by punching him in the face and trashing the house. At least that's what I wished I'd done later. But at the time, an odd sensation of calm descended. It was as if this wasn't really happening to me. It was at best some kind of joke, and at worst, something could be sorted. This wasn't in the plan. This kind of thing was never going to happen to us. Other people split up. Their marriages disintegrated like a swiftly disappearing desert island, but that was never going to happen to us. We were rock solid. A steady ship. Nat and Dan. Dan and Nat. It had the ring of one of those American teen shows that Woody loved to watch on Nick Jr. All jazz hands and sparkly teeth. We were a great couple. Everyone said so. We were the kind of couple that others looked at with awe and secret envy. Everybody loved Dan. He's just one of those men who people like. Old ladies, babies, men, women, children all told me, over the course of our marriage, what a really great guy he is. I would go on nights out with my female friends as they ripped apart their partners and husbands, picking over their faults like vultures feasting on carrion. I would nod with sympathy, but never really had anything to add. They would often turn their sleepy, drunken gaze to me, pat me on the shoulder and slur, "'Cause you're lucky, Nat. You've got Dan, he's such a lovely guy." And he was. Possibly still is. Dan was my husband, my soulmate. Of course he had his faults. The underpants on the floor and the toilet seat in the perpetual up position were an irritation, but not exactly a major crime against domesticity. He is, a good man, a good husband and father. He was my happy ever after. Naturally, we had disagreements and wobbles. Who doesn't? We didn't spend as much time together on our own as we would like, but that's to be expected. We're busy with work, Woody, and life. Obviously, it would be lovely to go on the odd date night, or even have sex, but, frankly, we were usually too knackered. I'd always thought that the shared bottle of wine on Friday night with a movie was good enough. Clearly, I have been labouring under a major misapprehension. Initially, I went into full-on denial mode when he dropped the bombshell. I wondered later if my body had actually gone into shock in a bid to protect myself from the truth. Certainly at the time, my brain sent me a quick succession of messages to counter his statement. He didn't mean it. He did. He'd been drinking. He hadn't. He was tired. True. And angry. Not true. It wasn't until I'd picked over the remnants of that evening with various friends, my turn to be the vulture now, that I'd fully taken in the order of events. It was a Tuesday evening. I hate Tuesdays. They make me feel restless and impatient. Monday is supposed to be the worst day, but for me, it's always been Tuesday. I can deal with the post-weekend slump, and Monday is usually my most productive day, but by Tuesday, I am longing for the week to move over the hump towards the downhill joy of Thursday. I often long for a glass of wine on Tuesday evenings, but on this particular day, I was disappointingly sober because I was having a so-called healthy week. At least I was before he said it. It was around 8:30, and we had just finished dinner. Woody was reading in his room before lights out, and I had been about to go and tuck him in. I normally love this part of the day. The feeling that another episode of motherhood is successfully complete. No one died. Everyone is safe. If I had been paying attention, I would have noticed that Dan was particularly uncommunicative during dinner. Again, it wasn't until later that I recalled the details. His downward gaze and hands fidgeting with the cutlery. His water glass, the pepper mill. I had been telling him about a problem with my latest book. I'm a children's picture book writer and have enjoyed some success with my series of books about...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?